You got to sit up there and pay attention to the rising tide. It lifts all boats. They didn't sit up there and make this decision until after she said that. You learn to love that girl. That girl went up in her press conference and said and spoke about flying commercial.
If I told you that a single rookie might completely transform the landscape of professional women's basketball in an instant, what would you think? It sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? To put it into perspective, Caitlin Clark did just that during her debut season in the WNBA. Are you ready for this? The influence of Clark extends far beyond the court, as seen by the fact that he broke records for assists and sparked a rise in game attendance across the country. Stick around to find out how this 22-year-old wonder is rewriting the rulebook on what a rookie season should look like, as well as why this is significant for the future of women's sports. Think about this, a debut for Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. The arena is being buzzed. It is all eyes on her. So, what exactly does she do? Howdy, 19 points and 8 assists are thrown in by her. A dazzling star is born in an instant. Nevertheless, this is only the beginning. What is Clark's first-year statistics? Incomparable to anything else. It's not bad to score 19 points per game, but 8 assists? That is of the highest caliber. Furthermore, she did not merely perform well in the game. Those record books were rewritten by her. 62 WNBA records were broken during her first season in the league. We're not talking about the Rookie of the Year here. That's the stuff of all legends. Recall the game she played versus Dallas. The Magician in Clark went into full mode. In a single game, 19 assists took place, a new record for the WNBA. It seemed easy for her to find partners for the assists. Easy peasy. There were some bumps in the road along the way. Clark has an issue with employee turnover. It seems as though she's attempting to accomplish too much at times. However, do you know what? Great players are willing to take chances.
And last but not least, Caitlin Clark. Ladies, let me tell y'all something. You can go out on the court and go at Caitlin Clark with the fierceness that your competitive juices demand.
Now that we're talking about terrific, let's talk about three-point shots. This season, Clark was successful in 122 of them in the history of the WNBA. Just one player has ever hit more in a single year. So what is the most outrageous statistic that demonstrates Clark's influence? Suppose we try this. When she was just starting out, she led the league in both points and assists during her first season. No one has ever experienced that before, neither in the first year nor at any other time. Clark's first year was not the only one in which he excelled. Overall, she had one of the best seasons of any player in the history of the game, and she is only just beginning her journey. In an instant, the Fever moved from being a bottom feeder team to a contender for the playoffs. Let us examine how Clark was able to alter their fortunes. Have you heard about the 2022 Fever? They were victorious in 5 games. 8th. What now? In the postseasons, what has changed? The name Caitlin Clark in 2 words. Overnight, the Fever transformed from being something of a punching bag for the league to being a contender for the playoffs, as if Clark had waved a magic wand. There were crickets in the arena that could be heard before she would come. What now? The games are being purchased out of hand, left and right. Not only does it include games played at home, everyone can't wait to get their hands on some of the action when Clark and the Fever hit the road. When it comes to accommodating all of the supporters, other teams are hiring larger stadiums. Additionally, the ratings for television are through the roof. At this point in time, there are more people watching WNBA games than ever before. What do you think they are all so eager to see? Not a doubt, Caitlin, our girl. But hold on, there are certain things that aren't as bad as they seem. Even still, the Fever were defeated in a number of games. Clark is incredible, but she is not a miracle worker to be sure. It was impossible for her to fix everything overnight. In spite of this, the progress is incredible. 5 victories to 20? Absolutely insanity. Do you know what's even more insane? Clark is not only assisting the Fever in any way, more and more attention is being paid to the entire WNBA. Product sales are exploding at the moment. People who were previously uninterested in women's basketball are now suddenly riveted to their screens focusing on the sport. During her debut season in the WNBA, did Clark actually outperform some of the league's veterans? Certainly, she did it. She dominated the league in both points and assists among all players. In her first year, no one has has ever experienced that before. Clark's first year was not the only one in which she excelled. Overall, she had one of the best seasons of any player in the history of the game. On the court, let's speak about what it is that makes Clark such a remarkable player. Clark is not just shattering stereotypes, but she is also shattering minds. Imagine a first-year player who, simply by being on the court, improves the performance of her colleagues. It sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? To put it simply, that is precisely what is taking place with the Fever, and it is completely upsetting the WNBA culture. Do you know what's wild? It's not simply that Clark is scoring. She is altering the way in which the game is played. Her court vision is reminiscent of something that appeared in a video game. She is able to find colleagues before they are even aware that they are available. A television commentator stated her court vision is impeccable, and now her teammates are ready to catch the ball. They trust she's going to get it where it needs to be. That's not talk for a beginner. This is the stuff of superstars. Which brings us to the topic of the passes. Clark is not merely flinging the ball around. Behind the back and no-look aids are getting her through the process of threading needles. The defenders are completely out of their minds. On the other hand, Clark's influence extends beyond her own statistics. The performance of her teammates has also improved. Aaliyah Boston is a good example. She's enjoyed a phenomenal season. Can you guess who is providing her with those flawless passes? Exactly, Clark. The offensive rating of the entire club has skyrocketed into the stratosphere. Let's talk about those rotations. Indeed, they are terrible. At 223, Clark was the leader of the league. However, great players are willing to take chances. She is making an effort to bring about outcomes. When it does work, it is truly magical. What are some of the distinctive abilities that Clark possesses that the other rookies don't have? Her capacity to deal with two threats at once. She has the ability to score from any position and serve up assists like candy. Her basketball IQ, by the way, on top of the rankings. Rather than only participating in the game, she is reading it as if it were a book. The first season of Caitlin Clark's career. It is not merely wonderful, indeed, it is astounding. Not only did she do exceptionally well, but she also rewrote the history books. The breaking of 62 records in a single season. That is not the stuff of a novice. That's the right stuff of all legends. When it comes to the terrifying aspect, however, Clark is only getting started. Experts believe that she has space for improvement. What would you think about that? Even though she is now in the lead in the league in terms of points and assists, they are predicting that she will continue to improve. I believe their predictions to be right on. Don't you? Indeed. She has a few things that she needs to work on. What about those turnovers? Yes, they are a source of concern. However, great players are willing to take chances. Is that Clark? She is making waves in the WNBA. The following year, take caution. There is a possibility that this rookie star will become the spokesperson for women's basketball. The Caitlin Clark Show is just getting started, so get ready, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this journey through some pretty exciting times in WNBA history. We want your thoughts on this, so please share in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Now, let's go!